World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the teacher. We are the creative. We are here.
Hello, and welcome everyone to another fantastic Tuesday where my name is Tyrone Glover and I am your Dress Down CEO coming to you live from my hometown of Yonkers, New York. Welcome and Happy New Year. Yes, this is a brand new year. This is show number 2 of the new year. I hope everybody is having again, I said last time, we're not going to be doing a New Year's resolution. We're going to be doing a course correction, and I hope that you are implementing your course correction. And if you're not, this is now the next show that's going to help you get back on track with that course correction. Let's get out of the way of these New Year's resolutions. What do they do for you? What have they been doing for you? What has the last New Year's resolution, and the one before that, or the one before that, or the one before that? What have they really done for you? Have they done enough? Have they done anything? Have you followed through on your New Year's resolutions? Well, if not, let's do 2024 by course correcting. As I said, my name is Tyrone Glover. I am the Dress Down CEO of Leverage Credit Recovery. I want to thank you to the show. Leverage your score here on Soul City Network. If you do not know about Soul City Network, you're missing out, folks. You are missing out. Soul City Network has a variety of great content, and we're on quite a few stations here: Verizon, Comcast, Fire TV, Apple TV, Roku. We are doing our thing, and we are so proud of the fact that we get to entertain you and give you valuable information that's going to help you proceed through not just this year, but the years to come. And we're looking forward to making sure that you have some of the most important information in the financial space, which I provide, which is primarily around that credit, which my mentor and my dear friend, also Dr. Yana B., who's equally on this nation as well, which she provides on Thursdays. You must tune into Access Wealth Nation on Thursday. This lady, I'm telling you, this queen, let me rephrase that, knows her stuff. And when it comes to making sure that you are going to be financially prepared, these are 2 shows that you do not want to miss out on. You do not Access Wealth Nation as well as Leverage Your Score. Definitely check her out on Thursdays and always remain part of the loyal team of this show. And let us do what we have to do. Today, we're going to be talking about, do you owe a debt collector? Do you think you owe a debt collector? Do you owe a third-party individual? What do you think? I'll give you a few seconds to ponder that for a little bit while the slide pops up. But think about that. Do you owe a third party? Do you owe somebody that you never got into a contractual relationship? Let's think about this for a second. If I walked up to you on the street and I tapped you on the shoulder and I said, hey, excuse me, I think you owe me, you'd probably turn around and you look at me and like, I don't even know you. What makes you think I owe you anything? And this is what's happening today, folks. This is what's happening. And it's been happening for some time. And I've been asking Congress, I've been asking Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, I've been asking debt collectors, I've been asking them to come on my show, sit down with me and have a conversation. Guess what? Crickets. Nobody has taken me up on that offer because they know they'd be put on the spot to where they would not be able to answer it, and they probably end up getting relieved from their positions. but that invitation always stands open. CEOs, CFOs, COOs, presidents, vice presidents of all these major financial institutions, banks, debt collection companies, law firms. I want to talk to y'all too, because y'all the ones who seem like y'all keep buying this debt. Oh, you didn't know we know that you buy debt. Oh, wow, really? Oh, my goodness. Shocking that we now, the consumer, and those of us who have resided in that space for about 20 years, yes, we know. We know what you do. And we are pulling the lid, ripping off the covers, taking off the Band-Aids, making sure that you understand you're not going to continue to keep getting away with this. You're not. It's over. The shenanigans are over. The tomfoolery is over. So with that being said, I always send out an invite to everybody. So if you could, go ahead and grab that device and make sure that you have sent out your invite to individuals. Also, if you have any questions while I'm going through the show, please pose those in the variety of different areas. If you're on Facebook, thank you so much for tuning in on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in on YouTube. If you're on StreamYard, thank you so much for tuning in on StreamYard. So you can see we do our thing. We do our thing because we want to make sure that this content gets out there in the public. This is the year. Every year is the year, but this is the year where you can make a huge, significant impact. You got to remember one thing. You have to remember one thing. Credit is the only building tool. Okay? It's the only building tool. Cash and debit, keep thinking that you're building something with it. You're not. You're not building anything with it. Okay? So if you want to get smarter, wiser, savvier, more intelligent when it comes to your financial knowledge, when it comes to your financial intelligence, when it comes to your financial stability, you're going to have to start tuning in on a regular basis to this show because credit is the name of the game. And trust me when I tell you, I bring my A game every single week to make sure that you have what you need to move forward and correct, again, course correction, correct some of these misnomers, these falsities that are out there that are tying us up and keeping us from that financial stability, that financial freedom that we are entitled to have. First and foremost, you got to get out of your own way. You have to be open to learning. You have to be dedicated, committed, and resolute, for those are the individuals who will see that success. I tell my students this all the time. I tell my day trading participants that all the time. I tell individuals this all the time. The committed, the dedicated, and the resolute will see that success. So with that being said, do you owe a debt collector? No, you do not. All right, you do not owe a debt collector. So really quick, let's take a look at this video, and it's about
falling behind on your bills? Even if you owe more than you can handle, you still have rights. Most legit debt collectors follow the rules, but bad debt collectors don't. They break the law. So if you get a call like this,
if you don't pay, we will have you arrested and deported.
Or this
is your final warning. Pay up now or we'll contact your employer and make them pay.
Hang up and report it to the Federal Trade Commission. You have the right to be treated fairly no matter what. That means debt collectors can't use abusive language, threaten violence, or harass you. Or call you before 8 in the morning or after 9 at night. They can't lie or pretend to be someone they're not.
I'm an attorney and will take legal action if you don't pay this debt right away.
Or get you to pay a debt that doesn't even exist. They can't have you arrested or deported or tell anyone about your debt. Bad debt collectors like to knock you off your guard to get an advantage, create a sense of urgency, and rush you. They'll say anything to get you to pay right now. Instead, hang up and report it to the Federal Trade Commission at ftc.gov/complaint. We've stopped a lot of bad debt collectors. Help us stop more. For more information about debt collection, visit consumer.gov/debt.
So there you have it, folks. You do not. There are individuals out there that are attempting to take advantage of you, and your job is to be a little bit smarter. Well, actually, be a lot smarter. And if you don't know, now you have a bit more of information that will help you if you start getting, again, beginning of the years when they start They're waiting around for tax season, and they're probably going to start getting even more of those phone calls. All right. The biggest thing that I want everybody to walk away with today is to remember something. Don't ignore those phone calls. I know we think, well, it's just a scam, sham, flim, flam, or whatever. You got to know certain things about answering the phone. And when you answer that phone, you want to make sure that you're doing it precisely. And in the upcoming weeks, I'll be addressing phone etiquette to help you with making sure that you don't get caught up in something that you naturally should not. Because, again, we're guilted into thinking because we may have had a credit card, or we may have had a loan, or we may have had an auto, or we may have had a variety of different credit products that may have put us in some type of harm's way. But I'm here to reassure you there are brand new laws, there are old laws and new laws. Every single year, the laws change. So it's your job to make sure if you don't know, have somebody in your corner who does know. And that's me, the exemplary Good Samaritan. All right, I am a veteran of an enlisted rank of the United States Army, a K through 12 educator, a corporate executive with a background in European studies. Over the past 3 decades, I have been entrusted with leadership roles by 19 companies, both in the United States and internationally. Yes, this young face doesn't look as old as I am, but trust me when I tell you, been around the world, and I've seen a lot of things, and I'm back home doing the thing that's going to help us here in this country. I'm talking to primarily the African American community, talking to our Hispanic community, I'm talking to the working poor, I'm talking to the ever eroding middle class, I'm talking to this one category that I am so horrified to even have to say, the full-time working homeless. These are the individuals that I'm talking to. I'm talking to those students who are now turning 18, 4 million students who are now turning 18 and now eligible to vote. I'm talking to eligible voters. I'm talking to anyone who knows that their financial situations have not been as ideal as they'd like them to. I'm talking to you because I want you to understand you're going to have to do the things that you need to do to keep yourself on point. And if you do the things that you need to do, guess what's going to happen? You're going to benefit. You're going to benefit, and you're going to benefit richly off of the things that you do. My responsibility has spanned the well-being, my responsibilities have spanned the well-being of employees and the pursuit of profit. Colleagues, clients, friends, students, and family associates associate me with a profound understanding of credit, dedication to credit advocacy, and commitment to consumer right protection and pro se litigant rights. You can do a far better job than having someone else go to court and argue just to have them settle so you can pay them, and then they end up settling for you, and then you're ending up paying somebody else who you don't even owe. All right, I just got a client just recently who went to the courts, prepared this lady so well that when she goes back, again, you never do anything on the first go round. They want to see what you got for the second go round. All right, but she was so well prepared. Henceforth, our young generation and students of all age will have a prominent voice and representation at the decision-making table. So that's why it's important to know someone like myself. If you don't know me, I hope you have somebody in your corner that does know something about the topic that I'm referring to. Do you owe a debt collector? All right, so summary, here's some areas in which you can probably find some of that valuable information. Solo suits, and if you don't know the CFPB, which is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, upon receiving communication from a debt collector, reply with a debt validation letter. So that's a way to get around some of these shenanigans that tend to happen because we do not know. Ignorance is what's creating more financial hardship, and you've got to be able to, let me rephrase that, you must be able to understand that the more intelligent you are, the less they're going to attempt to try to get over on you. Consider refraining from making payments to a collector in the following circumstance. If you lack any income assets, if the debt is not legitimately yours, if you wish to negotiate a settlement for less than the full amount, if the statute of limitation has expired, or if the collector does not possess ownership of the debt. These are things that you should be asking. I know a lot of these individuals get on there and they try to fast talk you, try to get you all uptight and angry and upset. Do not fall prey to that. You got somebody who knows how to help you, coach you. I don't like to really use the word teaching when it comes to us adults, because sometimes teaching kind of scares us. But I take this literally like a sport. Like a sport. And if you know anything about coaching, guess what there is? Coaches are everywhere. Every legitimate team has a coach, or every team. You think about the sport, you think about the activity, guess what they have? They have a coach. And I'm asking you to allow for me to be that coach to help you navigate through some of these challenges. And if you do that in the manner in which you're listening to today, guess what? You're going to find that success. So the CFPB, if possible, for debt collectors to pursue payment from a debt that is several years old. So this is what the CFPB has to say in reference to that. In many states, if the debt is indeed yours, the amount is accurate, and the debt collector is legally authorized to collect. They can persist in seeking payment from you. Legally authorized to collect. These are the things you have to find out first. Are they even legal to collect? And if they're not, you're going to set yourself up by signing a contract and getting yourself right back into a situation that you have attempted to get yourself out of. There are so many rules. And if you don't know the rules, you're going to get taken advantage of. All right. However, if you are taking to court, the age of the debt might serve as a defense in the lawsuit. And so knowing these things is going to help you with making sure that no one is able to take advantage of you. All right, Equifax. Now, I'm not a big fan of Equifax because they're one of the most habitual abusers, but they did have some great content that was I was able to gather from their site. Yes, one of the biggest habitual abusers has great content, but they don't follow their own best practices. And that's very, very sad. So negotiating debt collectors, or negotiating with a debt collector, understanding your rights. If you're facing challenges with a debt and are confronted with calls from collecting agencies, it's critical to recognize that you have rights in this scenario. Specific regulations dictate the actions and communications permitted for debt collectors in the pursuit of payment. Fair Debt Collection Practice Act, a federal law, prohibits collectors from employing abusive, unfair, deceptive practices in their efforts to collect your debt. Again, there is a law right there, the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act. You don't know it? You actually have 5 debt collection practice protections. You have 5 protections. I'm only addressing one of them, and that's the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act. The debt collection industry, a billion-dollar enterprise. It's much bigger than that by now, okay? Multi-billion-dollar enterprise, reaches over 1/3 of the adult population in the United States through its incense calls. All right, so that means they just calling. They don't know who they're getting. They're just calling just to be calling indiscriminately, just calling, because they don't have all the valuable information that is needed, because there's something called the Privacy Act that protects us as well. Oh yeah, businesses may think they're getting over, but you, the consumer, just needs to have a little bit more information so you can avoid finding yourself somewhere where you don't want to find yourself. While acknowledging the responsibilities to respond to settle legitimate debts when the phone rings, it is essential to emphasize that this obligation does not grant collecting agencies the authorities to engage in harassment, threat, and intimidation tactics to force repayment. Many consumers report feeling subjected to such tactics upon receiving initial phone calls. That's because these individuals are slick, sly, shady, shisty individuals. These are snake oil salesmen. These are carnies. These are individuals who will use whatever tactic, because I just told you, billion-dollar industry. When you're getting billions of dollars and you do something that creates a fine or a fee from the federal government and you make billions and paying millions in fines and fees and then have the ability to turn around and write it off, it only emboldens you. So I'm asking Congress to really consider bringing this brother down to Washington so I can sit down with you and have me a C-SPAN moment. I would love it to have me a C-SPAN moment and educate you guys on what you should have done and what you could still do to resolve and help a lot of individuals who might be suffering from financial challenges right now. The Biden administration is looking for smart people. Well, here you are, Joe. Okay, White House. Okay, Congress. All right, if you guys can't do it, you can't figure it out, I'll be more than happy to help you because I ain't afraid of none of these people. And I don't believe you are either. But for some strange reason, you can't seem to get out of your way to help us. All right? It's just that simple. It's just that easy. That's always going to be my line. It's just that simple and it's just that easy. All right, so understanding the legitimate duration of debt collection pursuits, exploring the statute of limitations and debt collections and strategies to prevent its reset. Yes, you got to know these things to prevent things from happening, for them to get constantly reset. Because when it's sold from one debt collector to the next debt collector to the next debt collector and so forth and so on. Debt is a commodity, just like oil, just like sugar, just like orange juice, just like whatever it is out there. It's a commodity and it's sold and it's bought and it's sold and it's bought and it's sold and it's bought. And it's not bought one-on-one. It's bought in bulks. So if a debt collector, say they have access to a $20 million bulk of debt, they don't have to buy the whole 20. They can split it up amongst other debt collectors out there. They can take 20,000. They can take 50,000. They can take a bit, whatever it is. 9 out of 10 times. 9 out of 10 times they win. And you can be that one that always sets the record straight, but you have to want it more than me, the presenter, giving you this information. And if you do, I'm telling you, the success is going to be there. Dedicated, committed, resolute will see success. And it's completely up to you how much success you want. All right, so as I stated, the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act safeguards consumers. Collectors are constrained by specific timeframes during which they can legally pursue debt collections. Nevertheless, specific statements made during their contract with you can potentially reset the clock on the statute of limitation in numerous states. So it's really important that we emphasize how you should. And as I stated, I will address some phone etiquette on how to, and then in a few upcoming shows, on how to not put yourself in jeopardy when it comes to answering those phones. I know that's a big, scary one, but guess what? You got an expert. Erykah Badu has given everybody permission to do what? Let me hear it loudly. Yes, call Tyrone. Thank you. All right, debt collection agencies often resort to employing various questionable tactics, commencing with persistent phone calls and potentially escalating further. However, in certain scenarios, you might not be obligated to settle with a debt collector. In certain situations, it all depends on how they're approaching the item. A original debt collector, original creditor, is different than a debt collector. The original creditor is obligated. They can do it, not necessarily abuse or do whatever they want to do, no, but they're the original creditor. But here's the kicker to original creditors. They have this thing called bad debt deduction. And I've spoken with many lawyers, and I've spoken with one who said, oh, no, that doesn't apply, that doesn't apply. And I asked him, I said, well, are you a business person? Do you get to write off your debt? Oh, yeah, I write off my debt all the time. So how does that not apply? Well, again, went to the him and Han. I shut him down real quick. Yes, that was a lawyer, someone who has that legal title. I'm just a regular citizen. I'm a pro se litigant, but I've done a lot of study over the last 3 decades, attempting to understand more and more and more how to help individuals get out and from behind some of these vicious attacks that are coming down this pipeline from greedy, disgusting, deplorable companies All they're looking at is bottom line, bottom line, bottom line, bottom line. Oh, yeah, they want to call us the deadbeats. No, we're not deadbeats. Own up to just your 10% and leave the 90% to me. I'll be more than happy to take care of whatever it is that you can't do. We'll do it together. I will educate you so well. I will make sure that you are so well versed, regardless of who might be attempting to collect from you. That's my job. That's my mission. That's my commitment to you. All right. If you are uncertain about how to proceed, consider seeking assistance from Credit Recovery for guidance. That's what we do. Leverage Credit Recovery. Seek us for guidance. We'll be more than happy to help you. All right. Student loans represents the second largest source of household income debt in the United States at roughly $1.3 trillion. And I know a lot of these students are freaking out, and Joe is doing a fantastic job with making sure that he can do whatever he can to remove some of this debt. The Supreme Court should have upheld that understanding because students and individuals who went to college were duped. They were lied to. All right, Fannie Mae and Fannie Mac and Sally Mae, or whatever these names are, from these companies that were supposedly helping the citizens. No, you duped the citizens. Pretty sad. But I'm not here to bash anyone. I'm not here to call anyone this or that or the third. No, I'm here to course correct. I'm here to put you back on the right trajectory to make sure that, again, you can find financial success regardless of what may have transpired. All right, debt collection agencies buy your debt from lenders. Yes, they buy your debt from lenders. Debt appears to be a common aspect of life for numerous Americans, with 4 out of 5 individuals, 80%, carrying some form of debt. The cumulative debt owed by Americans to banks, credit card companies, and other vendors stand at a staggering $1.4 trillion. Right? $1.4 trillion. And a lot of this is, guess what? Through fraud. Not on the behalf of the consumer, but on the behalf of these entities that are attempting to collect from consumers. Fraud. That's why I said, Congress, you need to have me down. I would love to do an episode, a C-SPAN episode, right there in front of all of you so-called leaders. Yeah, you want to challenge me? You want to put me on the spot? You want to yell at me? I wish somebody would. I wish a Ted Cruz or any of those morons who sit there. Yes, I'm calling them morons because they haven't been leaders. They haven't been leaders. They've been rulers. Government is to govern, not to rule. And unfortunately, we've been ruled for the last couple of sessions here. All right. Not saying the current guy in there is doing the ruling, but I'm going to definitely say the guy previously before that guy, oh, he was definitely ruling. And he said that if he gets back in there, he's going to be a dictator for one day. Really? You think he's going to be a dictator for one day? This is not a political show, folks. This is a financial literacy show. But guess what? It all ties in. All right? In debt collection cases, there's typically two main parties. First, there is the individual who is claimed to owe money, referred to as the debtor. Secondly, there is the entity to whom the money is claimed to be owed, known as the creditor. All right. The original creditor is legally responsible for making sure that they collect, but they have an out. They have a way of getting around that collection, and it's called the bad debt deduction. They can write off their losses. If you know anything about business, and I'm going to go real quickly. The United States grants you a business license, and they understand that you're going to make a profit. And that's why they tell you, if you make a profit, you got to pay them taxes. But you also could be subjected to some losses. And those losses are protected because you get to turn around and you get to write off those losses. So if you don't get paid for a debt and you turn around and you write it off and you get, say, 99.999% of that money back, then what is owed you? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But they use that and don't disclose the fact that their true value of their loss has already been corrected. And they don't share that with you, the debtor, right? They don't share that with you. And this is where the huge problem then arises. And this is easy to correct. Easy peasy breezy to correct. All right, frequently a creditor encounters difficulties in collecting a debt from a debtor. The debtor loans accumulate interest, yet there is no income money to cover it. At this point, the creditor is faced with two options. All right, choose to pursue debt collection independently, which they've given up that. They don't want to do that anymore. They've said, hey, it's better for us to write it off, sell it to a third party. We're collecting 2 times versus just 1 time. Plus, we don't have to employ anyone in our billing department to handle calls from consumers that they really don't want to talk to anyway. Oh, yeah, who wants to talk to somebody that owes you? You should want to talk to these individuals. You should be renegotiating these contracts for not only yourself, but also for those individuals, setting them back on a pathway to financial success. But you think, oh, if I hurt them, if I put them in debt, if I ruin their credit, then that gets them. Ha, ha, ha. No, it doesn't. It doesn't, because there's individuals like myself who are going to help those individuals and probably put them on a much better path that you could do in the beginning, but you're choosing not to. And that is sad. That is poor business practice. Poor, piss poor. And I'm appalled at the fact that I have to talk about it to an industry that I love. But you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. Nevertheless, locating an aged debtor may pose a greater inconvenience for the lender than the potential value of the debt. Yes, but if you negotiate while they're still part of your entity and say, hey, you know what? You can still write that off, which we already know you can, and you can help consumers put them on a pathway prior to it turning into a unpleasant relationship for either party. All right? Option to sell it to a debt collection agency, and that's the one that they always take. They're not going to run after you. 30 days tops. 30 days. If they go 60, you're lucky. But they're not going 90. They're not going 120. They're not going 150. They're not going 180. They're not doing that. They're getting rid of it at 30 days because they can write that off and their business continues, because now their investors are looking at them like, oh, you don't have very much debt on your books, so we're going to lend you even more money. Oh, great job, great job. It's always about one hand washing the other and both hands washing the face. I'm here to help you out, folks. I'm here to make sure that you are just as savvy, smart, wise, intelligent, bright, brilliant as I already know you are. Work with me now. Work with me. Right? In doing so, creditors relinquish their right to directly collect the debt, but still receive a monetary compensation. All right? When they sell that debt, they're getting a monetary compensation. I told you, it's not being sold 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. No, it's being sold in bulks. In bulks. A law firm or a debt collection company, they buy in bulk. And trust me when I tell you, they're buying on credit too because they know they're going to win. All right? Yes, they're buying on credit too because they know they're going to win. Because they're going to get consumers who are ill-informed, unprepared, don't have the wherewithal or the skill sets to be able to navigate and use proper adult business language. We decide to get angry. We decide to yell and scream. We decide to call them curse words and things of that nature. Not this kid over here. Used to, but I got smart. I got wise. I got savvy. And guess what I did? I did my homework and I started a business to help you, that consumer. You want that help? You want that help? I'm here to help you. Let's make it happen for us. This enables them to recover a portion of their losses. Oh, trust me when I tell you, they recover more than just a portion of their losses. They recover way more than just a portion of their losses. We can sit here and think that that's all they're getting. But let me tell you, folks, they're getting way more than just a portion. My apologies. I know it looks like I'm throwing up hand signals. I have this really cool camera, and this camera is so cool, it follows me around. So I'm going to pause it right there so it just stays precise with me. I know I use my hands a lot, so it does what it wants to do. All right, so continuing on, but that's what these debt collectors do. All right. The original creditor sells it, the debt collector buys it, and then the debt collector goes out portraying that they're the original creditor with the limited information that they have. Because again, as I told you in the beginning, you are protected by laws, and the Privacy Act protects you from such shenanigans. So they can't even give them all the information because guess what? You're protected. You have rights. You have laws that protect you. And if you don't know your rights, guess what? You don't have them. All right. The debt collection agency is a business that purchases outstanding debt from a creditor. Typically, these debts are acquired at an average of only 4% of the original amount owed. 4%. All right. 4%. Think about that for a second. Subsequently, the collection agencies endeavor to locate their debtor and compel them to repay the entire debt. All right, but they're buying it for 4%. All right, that should shock anyone. If a debt collector called you up and says, okay, give me 10% of what we just, that would be $1,000, that would be $100. But they're not going to do that. They want to get that whole 1,000. So they're going to say, well, you know, hey, boss told me that here's what we can do. All right. I don't need you to give me the whole 1,000. Give me 600. So we'll make a sweet deal for you. 600. And you being so unaware, you're going to be like, you're going to set yourself back up for failure. I'm telling you to get in good trouble by telling them, sorry, you have to validate this debt. I'm not falling for it. Oh, they're going to do the back and forth, the back and forth, the back and forth. They're going to say some things that might even get you heated, might even get you to start using some language. But remain the adult. And if you need assistance with remaining the adult, that's what I'm here to do. Just like I help and coach my students who partake in my K through 12 lessons, as I help and coach my students who take part in my day trading sessions, as I help and coach individuals who take part in my credit recovery session. I want to help you too. I want to make sure that you are well versed on what to do so that you do not get caught up. In 2024, I just said it. It's about course correction. It's not about a resolution. Course correct. Make sure your financial standing is in tip-top shape. All right, let's examine a scenario. Example. Bobby has a credit card debt amounting to $1,000. Following several months of missed payments, the credit card company acting as the creditor, writes off the debt and sells it to a debt collection agency for $100. So there you have it. So this was 10%, not even 4%. It could have sold it, probably sold it for $40. Subsequently, debt collectors initiate contacts through calls, letters, emails, urging Bobby to settle the debt for $1,000. They employ threats to legal action if he fails to comply. If Bobby repays the entire debt, the collector stands to make a substantial profit. Again, bought it for $1,000. They're gonna bought it for $100. They're gonna tell you, well, hey, you know what? If you give me $600. Well, hold on a second. Hold on. Let me go ask my boss. Let me go talk to my boss again. All right. Well, the boss said, hey, you know what? He can even make it sweeter for you. $5. You're now thinking, wow, it's $1,000. I'm getting off 50%. Hey, let's go ahead and sign that contract. Boom, 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 boom. You sign it. Guess what you've done? You've now put yourself back into a contract that you should never have put yourself into because there's still that remaining $500. Guess what they're going to do with that $500? They're going to sell that $500 to another debt collection company. And guess who's back on the hook again? You are. So please, I'm imploring all of you who are listening to me, do not get caught in a situation like that. If you do, shame on you. All right, aging debt can pose challenges regardless of whether you choose to pay them or not. Not precisely. All right, certainly. Settling with debt collection agencies may cause or may cease their pursuit, but it's limited to that. All right, the records of unpaid debt can persist on your credit report for up to 7 years. But anything on your credit report, as I stated before, is a negotiable item, and you can negotiate anything off your credit report. It only requires you writing letters. You writing them, I'm writing them. We use technology, we use AI, we use all of the latest, greatest, important, and impressive methods to help you. They're doing the exact same thing, so why shouldn't we employ the exact same tactics? Oh, this is not you attempting to get over. No, this is not what that is, because businesses lose money all the time. Say if you walked into your favorite store. I'm going to use Walmart because it's not my favorite store, but it's the store that we all frequent. I haven't been to a Walmart in quite some time. I think the last time I was there was in October when we went down, or November. I don't frequent Walmart because there's really nothing that I like about Walmart. They take advantage of consumers. Target, Macy's, you name them. They all take advantage of us, the consumer. But yet we still frequent them, and I'm telling you, it's okay. Do what you got to do. Keep yourself on the satisfied consumer list. But please understand something, all right? The records of the unpaid debt can persist on your credit report for up to 7 years, and it's up to you to negotiate that off. So it can be on there for 7 if you leave it, and sometimes if they don't pay attention or you don't pay attention, it can stay on there for even longer. The specific amount of the debt is immaterial. Collections create a consistent negative mark on your credit report, whether it's a $100 debt or a $100,000 debt. This can impact your future loan eligibility and financial transactions. So it's very much true that if debt stays on that credit report and you haven't done the necessary things, either paid it off or negotiated it off, guess what? It's going to stay there. So the debt does not just go away. All right, regardless of whether you settle old debt or leave them unpaid, they can still lead to complications. Moreover, if debt collection cases, the debtor initiates an intent is irrelevant. Numerous debtors are not actively attempting to evade their creditors. Rather, they may be unaware that they owe money. This situation frequently occurs when a creditor sends an unpaid debt notice to a borrower's previous address. So it's really important to update your address. It's really important to answer those phone calls. It's really important to not run from. There's these two words out there, adverse inference. If you leave it up to them, they're going to do whatever they need to make whatever reference to you as the consumer. And number one thing that they call us, deadbeats. And you're not a deadbeat. You're smart, you're wise, you're savvy, you're intelligent, you're bright, you're brilliant, you're beautiful human beings. And no one should label you as anything other than. My job is to help you course correct, and put you back on a path to financial success. The borrower, never having received the notice, continues their life oblivious to the debt trailing them. All right, so get in front of your obligations, get in front of your contractual responsibilities by pulling up your credit report this year. Get in front of it. So far, from my understanding, I believe the CFPB is still offering credit reports at once a week. My apologies, once a week. I haven't seen anything yet, but I will be updating a show that will let us know how the debt collection is still ongoing with the annual credit report, whether or not it's weekly, whether it went back to monthly. I'm hoping that they decided to keep it at weekly, which is only going to help you with making sure that you can get these situations taken care of. All right, we're about 17 minutes in. If I have, or do you have any questions? If anybody does, please drop that question in. As I said, if you're on Facebook, drop it in on Facebook. If you are on YouTube, drop it in on YouTube. If you're watching us here on StreamYard, drop us a question in there on StreamYard. Got about 17 minutes to wrap this up. Just thought I'd give you a heads up. All right, so 5 actions for debt collectors, and 5 actions they're permitted to do. All right, so one that they are prohibited from doing. Visit your workplace. According to the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act, it is unlawful for a debt collector to come to your workplace to demand payment. The act prohibits the disclosure of your debt, and appearing at your job to collect a debt is considered a violation. You have to know your rights, folks. This ensures that debt collectors are not allowed to engage in in-person harassment at your place of work. Subject to harassment, debt collectors harassing may manifest in various ways, including repeated phone calls, threats of violence, disclosures of personal information about you, use of abusive or obscene language. Right? So again, know these things. If you don't, get with me. I'd be more than happy to send this out to you. Detain you from debt. It is not permissible for a debt collector to arrest you due to outstanding debt. Nevertheless, if a debt collector takes legal action against you for the debt and you neglect to appear in court, you may face a default judgment requiring payment. This is what's so important, folks, that this process doesn't even go that far. But if it does, guess what? I got a remedy for that too. So you should not be running from your debt. You should be running to your debt. All right. Refusal to comply with a court order could promote the collector to seek an arrest warrant. All right. That's only if it goes that far. But trust me when I tell you, I have a remedy for that as well. Chase you for unfounded debt. The debt collection sector is subsequently susceptible to inaccuracies. Insufficient or incorrect documents may result in a debt collector pursuing the wrong person for payment or seeking payment from the right person for a debt that has already been settled. All right. My name is Tyrone Glover. I have a cousin who's also named Tyrone T. Glover. I've seen multiple individuals with Tyrone A. Glover, Tyrone B. Glover, Tyrone C. Glover. I don't even have a mental issue. So it's really important to make sure that your information on your credit report represents you, the individual, and not someone else. While not uncommon, this practice is illegal. All right? Simple, easy. I told you these are great shows. These are shows that you want to know about. All right? Wrapping this number 5 item up, contact you at any time. Debt collectors are prohibited from calling before 8 a.m. or after 9 p.m. Furthermore, you have the right to request that a debt collector cease calling or corresponding to collect payment for a debt. It's important to note that despite this, your responsibility to settle the debt still stands. But if the debt collector, if you do not owe the debt collector, trust me when I tell you, there's actions for their reactions. All right? You just have to know. And that's what this is all about today. Helping you understand how you get from behind these so-called debts. These debts have been settled. These debts have been settled by the original creditor. And unfortunately, debt collection companies, law firms, know that they can get over and they're going to continuously keep doing it. And my job is to help you get from behind it and face it just like the adult you are. All right, here's the things that they can do. All right, they can pursue payment for an expired debt. Unsecured debt, such as credit card, medical bills, comes with statute of limitations. Once this period has lapsed, the debt is considered expired. The legal action of payment is no longer permissible. So again, statute of limitations. Each state has one. However, it's critical to note that debt remains valid and debt collectors can still attempt to collect payment on these past financial obligations. But you got to remember something. The original creditor already settled the debt by writing it off. Oh, yes. That's called overbiffing, overstating their actual true loss. That is fraud. love to argue it at any time. All right. Exert pressure on you. While debt collectors are prohibited from making threats or providing false information, they are allowed to apply pressure within legal limits to collect payments. This pressure may involve regular calls, frequent letters, or discussions about potential legal actions for debt repayment, as long as they adhere to legal guidelines. And a lot of them don't, because they know that we don't understand the legalities or the laws behind our debt. So they'll use whatever tactics they can. And again, if it smells like a skunk, guess what it probably is? It's a skunk. All right. File a lawsuit for debt repayment. Debt collectors have the options to file a lawsuit seeking payment on a debt as a final recourse. And that's very cool. Let them come at you. Because as I stated, they and you have never been in a legal contract. They probably don't have none of the information that is required for them to even pursue. But because you don't know, they're going to take advantage of your ignorance. Ignorance is no excuse for the law, right? You don't know, they do, they're going to take advantage. And then they're going to get you to sign a contract, and you're going to be right back on the hook for a debt that has already been satisfied. These legal actions frequently lead to wage garnishment, bank levies, or a combination of both, especially when debtors fail to appear in court and lose by default. All right, transfer debt. A collector has the options to sell debt that remains uncollectible or sell the remaining debt if only a portion of payment, partial payment has been received. And as I said, I told you about that scenario. 500, there was still 500 left on that book, even though they told you, oh, we're going to settle it for you for 500. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be taken care of. And then they turn right around and sell the remaining 500 to another debt collection company or law firm. All right. Therefore, if a debt collector ceases contacting regarding a debt, it's not uncommon for another to take over. If you settle a debt entirely, it's advisable to obtain a written agreement to serve as proof. But we're not even going to get into that type of an understanding unless you yourself are tired of this process and you just want to get it done. But we'll do our necessary due diligence to make sure that it is done. Or we can go about it in the other manner and make sure equally that that is done. But one way or another, we're going to protect you, the consumer. All right, bargain on your debt amount. As a debt collector purchases debt at significantly reduced rates, they enjoy substantial profit margins if they collect the full amount owed. All right, this provides them with greater flexibility when negotiating payments with consumers. It might be possible to reach a settlement for as low as 25%. But just think about that for a second. See, this is why I love what I do. If they're buying it at 4%, why would you negotiate something for 25%? You know some stuff now. So you tell them, hey, I got $40 for this $1,000 debt. I got you. Here you are. You want this money? Come get it. Or let me send it to you. But draw me up a contract stating that you're going to settle for $40 and I'm good to go. But I'm not giving you no 25%. I'm not even giving you 30%. I don't even owe you, but to make you happy and to satisfy my soul, oh yeah, sure. Let's go ahead and negotiate a 4%. Let's negotiate a 10%. But I'm not giving you no more than that. And you shouldn't give them any more than that. You need my help, folks. I'm telling you, I'm just that type of guy. And what are they going to do? They're going to take us to court? I'll be there with you. Or I'll prepare you so good that you'll go in there and you will be the woman or man of the hour. Doesn't matter who that judge is. Doesn't matter what type of law individual that they bring. The facts are the facts. We're not going in there with feelings. We're going in there with facts. That's why you need to know somebody like me. All right. Once an agreement is reached, ensure it is documented in writing and have evidence that the debt has been deemed fully paid from the agreed upon settlement amount. All right. fully paid, and that means it's got to show up on your credit report, or even ask for a removal of that item off your credit report. Oh, we can't do that. Absolutely, they can. Don't get brought into the garbage. They put it on there, guess what? They can take it off. Just that simple. Whoever put it on can take it off. It's just that simple. It's not that hard. The law says an item can stay on your credit report for up to. Can is not a definitive word, so that means it can also come off your credit report prior to the 7 years. That's why you have to be somewhat of a linguist, someone who understands words and what they actually mean. All right, time is money, folks. Time is money. We got about 5 more minutes, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed this immensely because it has been a joy for me to help you. Wells Fargo charged off my auto loan with only 2 payments left when I had an arrangement to make the 2 payments. Hey, Jeff Anderson. Wells Fargo they're a scrupulous bank, my friend. They are very, very scrupulous, and they're going to do whatever they need. How can I fix this so I can have a home? Jeff, thank you so much for that question. What you have to do is you have to, again, reach out to Wells Fargo, renegotiate, find out if it's on your credit report. If it is on your credit report, we need to sit down. I can show you some ways of being able to get around what Wells Fargo has done. Wells Fargo is one of the worst financial institutions known to man. So you really got to be careful when you're dealing with that type of entity. I, today, don't even understand how they're even able to operate with all of the things that they've been able to do. But Jeff, please reach out to me, 805-428-9424, and I'll be able to go into a greater understanding with you on that particular item. All right, thank you so much for that question, Jeff. Yeah, but anybody who has questions or concerns, please, my number is on the screen right now, 805-428-9424. Send me a text. Send me anything that you may have. Email me, and I'll be able to reach back out to you at a given time frame where it will help me help you get this taken care of. For whatever reason, folks, here is how to report violations. Violations happen all the time. You got the CFPB, Consumer Financial Protections Bureau, and you have the FTC, which is the Federal Trade Commission. All right. If you encounter an unethical debt collector or receive fraudulent debt collection letters, you have the options to report them to your state attorney general's office. The Consumer Financial Protections Bureau, there's their number right there. They also have a consumerfinance.gov or their 855-411-2372 number, or the Federal Trade Commission, ftc.gov or 1-877-FTC-HELP. These agencies are equipped to intervene when debt collectors engage in deceptive practices or violate your rights. You have rights, people. You have rights. Our job is to make sure that you understand your rights. All right. So as I stated, these shows go super fast. Leverage Credit Recovery is who we are. Connect with us, ladies and gentlemen. LeverageCreditRecovery@gmail.com. Social media outlets. Leverage_CR is our Twitter handle. Leverage Credit Recovery is our Instagram handle, and Leverage Credit Recovery is our TikTok handle. Again, you can reach us at 805-428-9424. And one of my most favorite understandings of all times is this right here, Linktree, LINKTREE/Leverage Credit Recovery. You can see here some of the things that we've already put out there into the stratosphere of information. You can see we do our day trading. You can see I write for Substack, not write for Substack, but I use Substack as my means of being able to get some valuable information out there. I do a lot of shows at the library, so there's my Google Drive, and you can catch up on all of the past shows by clicking on that Leverage Your Score provided to you by Soul City Network on Facebook. Handout, excuse me, not a hand up, but a hand out. We are a charitable institution doing everything that we must do to make sure that our consumers have. So if you want to drop us a spot here or a spot there because you have more than enough, it would only help us with making sure that we take care of our consumers. Annualcreditreport.com is where you can go to get your annual credit report. Everybody who's listening to me, including you, Jeff, make sure that when we talk that you have your credit report with you, because this is going to help me help you make sure that whatever it is that we're giving you as information is coming from a factual understanding that is inside your credit report. I want to thank everybody who always gives me the time. Thank you, Jeff, for that question. It was awesome. I hope I did give you some form of information, but I'd love to speak with you on a much deeper level as to how to take care of that item from Wells Fargo. Thank you, everyone. Happy New Year to all of you. Continue to be safe. Travel well. It's going to be really nasty here in New York, everywhere else around the world. Please take care of yourself. America, I appreciate you. I thank you. Soul City, I love you. I appreciate you. But don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Yana B's show, Access Wealth Nation, this Thursday at 6 o'clock. America, I appreciate you. I thank you. Be safe.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.